let's say I strip away my involvement with Invincible or Blue Eye or all these, let's say, prolific shows that I worked on, what would I be? And that's kind of why it's like I want to focus more on like who I am as a creator. Hopefully that stuff will encourage everyone to make stuff. I think it's really cool to see people make things too. Just talk about like the sensitive nature of like making something where it can be both vulnerable and both like strengthening. And like the type of things that I want to contribute to like animation, because I want to like see new things come out.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us. Interesting. No. I mean, I really enjoyed Blue Eye Samurai, so kudos to you and the team on the work on that. It does give that Kill Bill vibes. I don't know if you've seen Kill Bill, but it definitely does give that vibe. But again, I think to your point, the camera work and everything there, what was done and how it was shot, I think that's why it was such a cultural phenomenon when it came out. And I know there's going to be a season 2 coming out as well, so I'm looking forward to that. What would you say to younger self if he was listening today?
Just I would say keep making stuff, keep making stuff that seems relatable to you. Worry less about trying to look cool, worry more about being genuine with the things that you make.
No, and I completely agree with that. I was listening to a podcast. I don't even know a guy called Tim Ferris. He was. There's one thing he said is like, you need to be careful about how you're shaped by your audience. If you allow yourself to be shaped by your audience feedback, you become a caricature of your most extreme behaviors and beliefs. So if you sustain that long enough, you'll become the mask that you're wearing in a sense. So don't be shaped too overly by the audience. Or he was talking about Google and YouTube as well. He say, don't be overly shaped by the audience and algorithm. So people who just be creating things just because people, whether it's trending or whether people are saying, you have to watch this or you have to do this, so on and so forth. He was just like, don't be shaped by that. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, yes, create what you like, right? In that sense, create what makes you happy, create what makes you feel joy. I think a lot of people do things for others just because they think it'll get them clicks. I know this is the world we live in. And, sometimes they're not happy doing that content. They just do it for the clicks. Whereas my standpoint is, look, I'm just going to invite the guests I love. I'm going to do the podcast episodes I like. I don't necessarily want to, do something just for the sake of doing it. I think one of the things he says is being efficient without regard to effectiveness is the default mode of the universe. And I think that's how everyone operates, we need to be not just efficient, but also effective as it were. So,
yeah, I think it's so, I didn't even think that I would get affected by like the whole YouTube space or algorithm or things like that, or likes and stuff, but it subconsciously like affected me, where the less likes I got on something, I thought I was doing something wrong. And then I started comparing myself to other people who were doing really, really well. And, I was envious of their skills too. So I would try to like make stuff that was similar to their work or in that vibe. And I think you can learn a lot from that, but at the same time, it's so easy to get lost in who you are as an individual.
yes.
And I didn't realize that until like I saw everyone else doing very similar things, where it was always like these guys feel like they're trying to one up each other, and a lot of the stuff that was being pumped was like, I'm gonna remember this now, but I'm probably not gonna think about it like later down the line. And I think that's kind of why like I started resorting to like, making really dumb, funny things to see what makes me laugh. Hopefully it'll make others laugh. And then maybe I can find my own voice, just trying to have fun again. And then I can start being, serious and thoughtful again.
But I mean, look, I know we were nearly at the end, but just to wrap this up, it's just more so, I think it's, I see that love being reciprocated by your audience, right? You've grown your channel to a very massive following. And I imagine you're doing it just because you're doing the things you love, as opposed to trying to pander for others or pander for the audience. Maybe at a time you did, or maybe didn't. I don't know your whole journey, but with regards to the latest videos I've seen, I did also see the one where he says I'm not a YouTuber, but I can see that you're doing things that you want to talk about, right? Not just like you said, industry stuff and so on and so forth. So.
Yeah.
And again, people are receiving it well. So I think that your voice has been shown and is being shown to people who are receptive of it regarding your creative process. So yeah, you've done well.
Thank you,
Awesome stuff.
man. I
No worries.
I think it came to the point where like I didn't have joy like talking about the industry, or like I do, but I don't want to make my whole identity or channel like about the industry.
Correct.
Like if let's say I strip away my involvement with Invincible or Blue Eye or all these, let's say, prolific shows I worked on,
Mm.
what would I be? And that's kind of why
Mm.
it's like I want to focus more on like who I am as a creator.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that stuff will encourage everyone to make stuff. I think it's really cool to see people make things too. Just talk about like the sensitive nature of like making something where it can be both vulnerable and both like strengthening.
Yep.
And like the type of things that I want to contribute to like animation, because I want to like see new things come out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us want to kind of not be self-identified with one specific thing, especially if we are more than just that. And to your point, you are more than just working at DreamWorks or Netflix or so on and so forth. You have a lot of different skills, a lot of different interests, passions. And that's what I found refreshing about your YouTube channel. And I think that's why it's doing so well, because you add so much value to the audience.
Thank you, man.
Showcase your process. You give great advice, not just around art, but you kind of like and watch the videos where you are doing like your animated storyboarding, but you're talking about productivity, or you're talking about like 3 skills I learned about so and so forth. So I think they're very, very informative and very instructional. And I can tell you take a lot of time and do a lot of work in creating your notes to give, great instruction, or not instruction, but great, I would say, great advice based on your experiences. So thank you so much for giving that to the world. So appreciate it.
Of course. No, thank you
No
so much for the
worries.
kind words.
Oh, I know this. Click on the next video before he lets it off. Impeccable form, by the way, and the Hunter x Hunter drip is... Get out of there! It's still there, though. Yes, but in his mind, it's gone.